My ex suddenly started visiting his mom again for her money, but she left it all to my son. I'm 28, and when I was 7 months pregnant with my son Dylan, my husband Aaron started seeing his coworker Megan and left me. 3 months after Dylan was born, Megan had Aaron's daughter. The divorce was brutal. I got primary custody and $800 a month in support, but Aaron was late almost every time. The one person who never switched up on me was Aaron's mom, Margaret. The day Aaron moved out, she cut him off and said, "You broke your family, so don't expect me to celebrate your new life." Margaret stayed close to me and Dylan. She watched Dylan twice a week while I worked, took him to the park, and kept his drawings on her fridge. Megan hated that. She posted vague stuff online about toxic grandparents and favorites. I ignored it until 3 weeks ago when Margaret called me and said the doctors found stage 4 pancreatic cancer. They gave her 4 to 7 months. Dylan and I drove over that night. Dylan clung to her and cried into her shoulder, and Margaret held him tight and rubbed his back over and over. 2 days later, Aaron showed up at Margaret's house unannounced with Megan and their daughter. Margaret told me Aaron cried at the door, said he was sorry, and said he wanted to make things right before it was too late. Megan kept saying their daughter deserved to know her grandma. I thought Margaret would slam the door. Instead, she let them in. A few days later, she posted a photo of Aaron holding his daughter in Margaret's living room. The caption said, "Getting to know my granddaughter. Family is everything." I stared at my phone and called Margaret. "What are you doing?" I asked. She just said, "Trust me." Then it turned into a whole routine. Over the next 2 weeks, Aaron and Megan visited 5 times. Megan commented under every post like they were best friends, saying how grateful she was and how lucky the kids were. Aaron even texted me, "Mom's really changed. I think she finally gets we're all family now. And this is good for everyone, especially Dylan." My stomach dropped. Dylan asked me why Daddy's other family got to see Grandma Margaret more than he did. Last Tuesday, Margaret called and told me to come over alone, right away. She said it was urgent. I drove there with my hands slick on the steering wheel, ready for her to tell me she'd forgiven Aaron and wanted to split everything evenly. When I walked in, Margaret was sitting in her living room with her lawyer, Martin, and she was grinning. She patted the couch and said, "Sit down. I need you to witness something." Martin slid a stack of papers toward me. It was Margaret's updated will. I started reading and my heart started pounding. Her house, appraised at $890,000, goes to Dylan. Her savings account, $340,000, goes to Dylan. Her vintage car collection, about $120,000, goes to Dylan. Her jewelry, furniture, everything goes to my son. I was named trustee of the estate until Dylan turns 21. Aaron gets $1, so he can't claim he was left out. Martin said that makes it harder to contest. Megan and Aaron's daughter wasn't even mentioned. My hands shook so much the pages rattled. I looked at Margaret and said, "But you've been letting them back in." Margaret leaned in and said, "Exactly. I wanted them comfortable and thinking they won." Then she pulled out her phone and showed me texts from Megan. Megan asked if Margaret could help with a down payment on a bigger house because they need more space for our growing family. She even sent Pinterest boards for how she wanted to redecorate Margaret's house, like it was already hers. Margaret said, "Yesterday she told Aaron she wants to turn Dylan's bedroom here into a home office." Dylan's toys were still in that room. Martin handed me a sealed envelope. Margaret said, "This stays sealed until my funeral. It's a letter explaining why I did this." I felt my throat close up. Margaret pulled me into a hug and whispered, "They hurt you when you were at your weakest. They don't get to profit from my death, too." I signed where Martin pointed, and Margaret signed right after me. As I stood up, she squeezed my hand and said, "Now we keep playing nice, just a little longer." The next morning she had chemo, and Aaron and Megan showed up with flowers and big smiles. Margaret smiled back and thanked them. As soon as they left, she texted me a photo of her in her recliner, holding the flowers, with a huge smirk on her face. Under it, she wrote, "They think they've won, and they have no idea what's coming."